The line is public comments. Do we have anybody?
I'm not seeing anybody.
Ready? Let's say the line is approval of the minutes.
Make a motion?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Items of business.
So that'd be the chief's report.
That would be it.
For the month of May, it was a little busy. We had 26 reports. On those, nothing real earth shattering. Other than you will notice that the health and safety report that had to do with possible poisoning at the middle school. Allegedly, someone may have put Clorox bleach in somebody's drink. So that investigation's still
My
open.
son better not have been involved.
No. So this had to deal with 8th graders.
It wasn't.
So that's still being worked at. Assist to MMR ambulance, that was a full arrest on a former MSU police officer. She did not make it. Assist Clinton County Sheriff's Department on Meridian Road on a call involving a felonious assault. Assist LSW fire, that was a barn fire.
Was it one that you assisted for Meridian Road? Was that for something that happened in Ovid?
St. John's.
Oh,
So that happened in St. John's. So there was for the month 61 traffic stops. 26 tickets were issued out of those stops, 18 for speed. One was for an accident, failed to stop within a clear distance. 35 traffic warnings in 21 for speed. One was for loud music. They didn't realize that you can't have loud music past 50 feet from your car,
what?
so that everybody else doesn't have to listen to it. So they were educated.
Was that the house behind me?
No, this was in a car.
Yeah, they've been doing that in the car. Really loud.
This was on the road.
I hear a car all the time go down the street playing loud music.
There you go. So one appearance ticket was issued for allowing dogs to run at large. For city ordinance violations, there were 7 vehicles tagged as abandoned,
Wow.
1 for trash and 4 for tall grass. So I'm assuming with this rain, we'll have to tag a few more. We finished up our active shooter training for the police, fire, and EMS for Shiawassee County.
Can you go into that just a little more?
Sure. Then myself and Officer Mark Smith, who's with our department, were part of the training cadre of active shooters. Again, in Shiawassee County, if any active shooter goes out at any school, business, or whatever, it's an all call for all law enforcement. Once law enforcement gets there, the first officer that responds has the task of going in immediately. The only time he would wait is if his backup is actually pulling in the parking lot. If his backup says he's a minute out, they're not waiting. Statistically, every minute, 5 people are shot. Statistically. So if he's waiting a minute, 5 people could be shot. So we're teaching that they immediately go in. The first 3 responding officers will go in, the 4th responding officer, and it may not be a supervisor, then has incident command. And then they have to start not only dealing with what's going on inside, but as well as the outside for additional responding officers, because then you have to set up a perimeter, you have to set up a rescue task force. The rescue task force is set up so that EMS can station. We will have EMS come in the building and they go into what's called the warm zone, because we can't guarantee that there may be more than one shooter. Statistically, it's only one shooter, but statistics sometimes don't play right. So once EMS goes in, they are assigned a minimum of 2 officers, 1 in front, 1 in back, and they go in to just stop the bleeding, stop the triage, and they go from patient to patient. While they're doing that, an officer then sets up what they call a casualty collection point. And that person that's incident command has to start setting that up and then start coordinating where the ambulances are gonna park. And in Shiawassee County for ambulances, on a good day for the whole county, we may only have 8. So we're gonna have to draw ambulances from Ingham County, Clinton County, maybe Saginaw, Genesee, depending on where the activity is. Once a higher ranking official gets on scene, that could be sergeant, lieutenant, chief, sheriff, whatever, then on the outside, we do what's called the unified command. And that's where police, fire, and EMS are all staging outside, coordinating what other benefits they need from fire and EMS, as well as coordinating with the hospital here in Shiawassee County. It'd be Owasso Memorial. Then Owasso Memorial will dictate from the casualty collection point where those patients go. We're also, because we're out, say if it happens in the Langsburg area, we're gonna also have, try to get helicopters. Again, with helicopters, you need a landing zone. So we'll need additional fire for that. The fire department we have our protocols on who we call, reference to the fire department aspect of it to assist. But our main function as law enforcement is go in and stop the threat. Now, part of the training, and I don't know about, in Texas there, if you go from active shooter to barricaded gunman. And I don't know what transpired all in Texas about them saying it was a barricaded gunman situation, but we already know that he had shot up that classroom. So there's really no reason to wait and say you have a barricaded gunman to wait for the SWAT team. If it's on the first floor, you've got windows, I think, on the outside that you can start taking windows out. One nice thing here is I have a master key for all the doors for all the schools. So
That's nice.
even if the door locks and it has to pull out, I still have a master key for it. The school knows that they're supposed to give us a master key. If I'm not here, there's somebody else here.
Nice.
All the patrol cars here in Langsburg, as well as the fire units, the command and the ambulances all have the swipe cards to get into the building because they have the swipe card access to get into the initial doors.
I like the fact that you're saying that, first one here, first one in, but, does he have shields?
We don't have shields, and if you're the first one in, you don't want to mess with the shield. Because then you don't have, all you can hold is a handgun. And if you're going to an active shooter, we want to take our patrol rifle that's with us and take that in the car.
Everybody's wearing vests then on duty all the time?
Yeah, that's right in our policy procedure that you wear vests. Problem with the soft body armor is that it will not stop around from a rifle. The plate that I have in the front will, but if it gets hit through anywhere else, that bullet will go through. So again, you're going in there to stop the threat, and that's hopefully what they do. But again, as we've seen in Florida and some other places, some officers aren't willing to do that. But we train them. That's the way it should be done.
Well, now I think they're trying to go after them too. For not going right on too. That's a bad situation too, but
Yeah, so not my lane, so.
Well, let's do it away from
Also with that active shooter, we did have some of our reserve officers go through that. So that was good.
what role would they play in an active shooter? Are they gonna be more?
There would be
in the
more
background,
on,
maybe directing the helicopter, maybe.
yeah,
directing-
if they're working, or if they come in. If we give the all call, but we're gonna probably have a lot of three-letter agencies showing up. We'll have a lot of people that are self-deploying maybe from other jurisdictions. And that happens. So then we need to kind of curtail the stray cats, as we call them, as to what they're going to do. And they would predominantly be on,
How long does it take the three-letter departments to actually start arriving?
oh, probably an hour.
By then it may be over.
Yeah, typically most shootings are done within 5 to 7 minutes. You know, the ones that take an hour, those are beyond the scope, but most shootings are done within 5 minutes,
Well,
if
the-
not sooner.
Plus side we have for our chief, he was trained before he got here. and
Right.
Right,
What he does for like your SWAT stuff,
yeah, so I did SWAT for 25 years.
that's a
so,
plus.
Yeah,
A lot of departments don't have that.
No.
Is that something you're
that
able
makes
to
me glad as
train
well.
some of your officers that haven't been through SWAT training?
Yep, and in fact, Jason Smith, he just got on the SWAT team. It's a joint team for Ionia County. So he's actually being sent to school for that, so he'll join that ranks. Mark Smith, who's here, he was on the SWAT team with me, so.
Nice.
Yeah,
That helps.
that helps. So,
What type of rifles do we have helmets in our cars?
we have the AR-15 patrol rifles. They shoot the
5.56 or-
223, 5.56, yeah. So they all, each magazine holds 30 rounds. We have extra magazines, but yeah, we're equipped with that.
So the distance that'll shoot, that'll, I mean, you don't get close and have to get close and personal with them.
Right.
First, like a 12 gauge.
Right, yeah. And the only reason we have a 12 gauge actually in the cars is for less lethal. And that's what they are. They're actually, they've got an orange stock. And so those are less lethal if we need to deploy that for another situation, say, we're the first person out if somebody has a knife, but then if somebody does have a knife, we always have lethal backup with us.
So the beam bags, you guys have that? or no?
Yes.
Cool.
And they come out of the shotgun.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
that's what I was thinking.
yep.
I hear they hurt.
Well,
Knife
they'll leave a
bruise.
mark. And actually, they could kill someone, so that's why there's certain areas that you could only shoot them at, arms, legs, thighs,
Oops, missed.
yeah. So, do that. Springtime festival, no big issues. That gets back to the one complaint about suspicious situation. That involved an employee that subcontracted to Arnold's, and I didn't know they even had subcontractors. But this was an individual that was running the strawberry ride, and he had talked to some 13 and 14-year-old girls, sent them his Facebook page,
Oh, boy.
talked about possibly meeting them after he got out of work.
Oh, lovely.
So,
Subcontract employees is generally a way to get out of paying taxes.
yeah. So I had a discussion with the young man and about his activity and that we would be watching him. And he's also on the sex offender registry.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
And he's working in a car.
he was working at a carnival.
It's wonderful.
Lovely.
Anyways, so
All right.
he was watched closely.
Body cameras.
Body cameras. Currently, the body cameras we have are no longer being fixed or repaired or replaced. So right now, we had 2 go down. However, I was able to do a little reading and hit the reset button, and now they're working, which is good. So in the meantime, a federal grant had come out that had closed, I think, May 22nd. So for chagrins, I did put in for the grant. I don't know if we'll get the grant. I did check on different prices for cameras. Currently, we have the Wolfcom camera and 6 new cameras with docking station and everything else. The first year would be $8,200. It's a 50% match, so our cost would be $4,100.
That's not bad.
No, that's not bad.
I also talked to some people in the community who would also be willing to donate additional money towards those costs, such as the Lions Club or Modern Woodsman, that type of thing. So if we get the grant, our cost may be even less than that. Now, the caveat to that is a lot of companies now are learning that they need to have a licensing fee because that keeps money coming in. So as you notice, each camera has after the first year, a $250.
Do they have a software that crashes after the year unless you give it a code?
I doubt it. I don't know, maybe. So then that would be $1,500, and then there's a $500 backup because they have it where it can go to the cloud. So, or they store it.
I mean, as silly as that is, it's a small price to pay for evidence.
Yeah,
So,
ever since we've had our body cameras, they've worked out immensely. I think they work out good. These have held up pretty good.
How old are them, the ones we have now? Like,
These are like 4 years old.
okay, that's what I was wondering.
What is their policy if it goes to the cloud? What is their privacy policy or their?
Yeah, they have to follow the whole federal government guidelines, which they have.
So they can't leak
It's-
things like the courts seem to be leaking.
Right, yeah. So, yeah, somebody else is leaking that, but yeah. The next closest was Digital Alley. And I'm like, wow, that's quite the expense. And theirs is a 5-year program. You can't even get them for first year. You have to get them for a 5-year thing. And that's how much they cost per
Wow.
year.
Ouch.
For a total of 17,000. I'm like, that's a little pricey.
wow.
A lot of agencies now have that Axon, and that's even more money.
Wow.
It's like, yeah, we're a small agency. We're not gonna
Yeah.
jump into that. So I
Well, this
just wanted to let you know that I had put in for this grant. I don't know if we will even get it.
And if not, our cameras are working.
Our
for now.
cameras are still working at this point, yeah.
Do we have any kind of contract or a software contract with anybody on those?
No, because
That was
they're beyond their life expectancy. So they're still working good. So, if they start to drop off, then I guess we might have to revisit it. And maybe we could use a little marijuana money for it.
There you go.
I was gonna suggest you go for the big one. Marijuana would pay for it.
So I don't need all the bells and whistle.
No.
I like these small ones, how they work. It's got a rotatable head here, and it fits on our equipment well, so I haven't had any real issues with that.
The smaller, I'm sure, look better, especially. with all the
Yeah, and
stuff
some of
you
them,
got.
they're bigger than this one even. They're this,
I've
this
seen them,
big. and-
Yeah, I mean, they got them, so they're like way up here, and I don't know how you can maneuver to do anything.
Right,
I like all the things that you gotta stick on your vest and think about all the added weight that you have to carry around and.
yeah, and that's kind of why we went to this outer carrier. It gets it off my hips and back, which helps my back.
And your knees.
Some officers don't like them. I know my brother doesn't like the other vest, so he's back to wearing the regular vest and the
Yeah,
regular
any of
belt.
them, they have cooling pads in them or anything?
No,
Cooling pads?
no.
The car and air conditioning.
Yeah, so they do get a little warm once in a while. But they seem to work pretty good, so.
It's better than getting a bullet.
Yeah, and to apply for these grants, you have to have, even like when we do the bulletproof vest grant, where they pay 50% of it, you have to have a policy about officers wearing their vests on duty. So federal government requires it. So,
A certain vest, or is your brother good?
No, he's good.
Okay,
It's-
he's wearing the
it's just-
vest. it's
yeah.
just not
So-
Certain
wearing-
standard you have to have above
Yeah.
this quality.
So with his, he just wears his under the shirt.
Mm.
Where mine is on the outside now. It's the same pad, so the vest that's under the shirt, I just take those out and put them in this vest,
Got it.
so. But then I had bought all plates in the front that will stop the rifle round. Again, if it doesn't hit this plate that's only a certain size, then it will go through the back.
They're what, about that size? I got a couple in my garage.
Yeah, they're not even that. They're about 8
Yeah.
by 10.
They're clear. Are
Nope,
them clear?
these are black.
Oh.
So- Nope. So other than that, we're still progressing. Larry Sparks is back to work.
No,
So he'll be here this summer, breaking in some hours.
He's still working East Lansing too, or?
No, he had retired from there, and then in the winter, he's out in Arizona.
Not nice.
So then he came back for the summer, so now he's back.
Okay.
So he'll be picking up some hours.
Okay. Next thing is others. If you have, we probably already hit it.
Yep,
You
don't have any others.
Right, next item then is to adjourn. Take a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye,
Aye.
we're adjourned.
Good, I need a glass of water. My allergies get spiking up. Smells